You may have seen these clips. But why do cats do this?
My cat Kiko went into the bathroom looking like a normal pet. He came out looking like a sad, soggy sock. Flat fur, enormous eyes, the physical posture of someone who has just experienced a genuine injustice. He sat on the bath mat for a full 10 minutes afterward, not moving, just staring at the wall, processing. Most people laugh at this, and honestly, fair. But I've been thinking about it, because Kiko grooms himself every single day, meticulously. He doesn't avoid being clean, he practically runs a full hygiene operation on his own schedule. So the water isn't the problem, not really. Something else is happening in that bathroom. Something older than domesticity, older than the ceramic tub, older than us. Today, we're going into 5 of the real reasons your cat reacts to water the way they do. And I'm saving the one I think will actually change how you see those bath time meltdowns for the very end. It's the one researchers call a protection response, and it's not what it looks like. Okay, let's go. Your cat's fur is not waterproof. That sounds obvious, but the implications of it aren't. A dog's double coat has natural oils distributed throughout that cause water to bead and run off. Cat fur, especially the dense, layered coats of domestic short hairs and long hairs, absorbs water instead, deeply, quickly, and completely. So when Kiko enters a bath, his coat doesn't just get wet on the surface, it saturates. The entire outer layer becomes heavy, cold, and matted against his skin. What was once a perfectly regulated layer of insulation becomes dead weight that holds chill against the body. And here's the part that surprises most people. Wet cat fur takes a very long time to dry, hours in some cases. A cat's body temperature regulation depends heavily on that coat. Soaked through, they can become genuinely cold fast. The drama isn't drama, it's the body reacting to something that feels, physically, like a serious problem.
Here's something that took me a while to really understand about cats. Their scent isn't just a smell, it's an identity system, something they spend hours every day maintaining, distributing, and reading. The slow grooming ritual you watch Kiko perform isn't just cleanliness, it's a deliberate, methodical process of reapplying his own scent signature to every part of his body. And when he steps into water, it's gone in 1 minute. Every layer of scent information he spent hours building washed completely away. Animal behavior research suggests that for cats, scent control is closely tied to their sense of safety and familiarity. Their own smell tells them who they are, where they've been, what they've claimed. It's orientation. It's home carried on the body. A bath, to Kiko, isn't just a temperature problem or a physical discomfort. It's a sudden, total erasure of his own signature. He steps out of that tub, not just wet, he steps out as, in some biological sense, a blank. That frantic post-bath grooming you've probably seen, where they immediately, obsessively start licking themselves the moment you release them, that's not attitude, that's reconstruction. They're putting themselves back together. Watch Kiko the moment the water touches him. Really watch. It's not one thing, it's everything at once. The sudden temperature change against his skin, the weight of the water in his coat, the sound, because the sound of running water is surprisingly loud when your hearing is as acute as a cat's, and underneath all of it, the smell of whatever shampoo or soap is being used, flooding a sensory system built to detect subtle, specific scent information at extremely fine resolution. When I try to sketch the expression on a cat mid-bath, what I always end up drawing is this: every single muscle braced at once. Not aggressive, braced. The way you'd look if 10 things you couldn't separate were all arriving at the same moment and you had no way to process them one by one. That's what sensory overload looks like in a small animal. Not panic exactly, more like the system receiving too much input to sort. The wide eyes aren't fear of the water specifically. They're the look of a creature trying to process everything simultaneously and finding it genuinely overwhelming.
If right now you're thinking, okay, I've been misreading this my whole life, then you're exactly who this channel exists for. This is what we do here. Not just fun facts about cats, the actual biology, the actual emotion, what your specific animal is actually experiencing every week. If that's what you want, subscribe. I promise it's worth it. Point 4. Here's the thing most people get wrong about cats and baths. They think the problem is the water. The problem is the loss of control. Cats are what animal behaviorists call neophobic to forced contact, meaning they have a strong, hardwired stress response to situations they didn't choose and cannot exit. It's not learned behavior. It's a deeply embedded survival mechanism in an animal that evolved as both predator and prey. When you put Kiko in a bath, you've removed every variable he normally manages: where he goes, what touches him, how long he stays. The physical discomfort of water is real, but the deeper stress response is about the restraint, the absence of an exit, the being held in something he did not select. Veterinary behaviorists note that stress responses to forced bathing can linger for hours after the bath itself is finished, which is why the post-bath stare-at-the-wall behavior isn't Brahma. He's decompressing. Not every cat hates water, and that's worth talking about, because if your cat actually seeks it out, dips a paw in the sink, sits near the shower, watches the faucet with something that looks like genuine interest, you might have wondered if something was wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with them. Certain breeds, Turkish Van, Maine Coon, Norwegian Forest Cat, have historically higher water tolerance, partly from coat texture, partly from origin environments near lakes and rivers. But even among mixed breed cats, individual variation is significant. Some cats are introduced to water young in positive circumstances and simply don't develop the fear response. Others are naturally lower in sensory reactivity and find moving water genuinely stimulating rather than overwhelming. Research on feline personality traits suggests that novelty-seeking behavior and water curiosity tend to cluster together. Your water-obsessed cat isn't broken. They just landed on a different point of the sensory spectrum. And if your cat falls entirely into the betrayal face at the first drop category, also completely normal, also completely fine. They're just working with the system they were built with. I want to come back to something. We talked about the coat, the scent, the sensory overload, the loss of control. But all of those things point to the same underlying truth, and I think it's the one that actually matters. A cat in a bath isn't reacting to the water. They're reacting to the sudden, total absence of everything that makes them feel like themselves. Their scent, gone. Their coat, wrong. Their temperature, wrong. Their ability to leave, removed. Every system they use to read the world, orient themselves, stay safe, temporarily offline. What you're watching in that bath time meltdown isn't stubbornness or manipulation or dramatic overreaction. It's an animal whose entire sense of self-regulation has been disrupted at once, doing the only thing available to them. And then you wrap them in a towel, and they sit in your lap, still damp, still a little offended, and slowly, the grooming starts again. And the scent comes back, and the coat starts to dry, and somewhere in there, piece by piece, they find themselves again. You were there for the disruption. You were also there for the return. That's not nothing. Every reaction we covered today, the flat fur, the wide eyes, the post-bath stare, they were never about the water. They were about what the water temporarily took. Your cat spends their whole life building a version of the world they can navigate. Their scent, their warmth, their exits, their chosen distances. And for a few minutes in that bathroom, all of it disappears. Now, when you hand them the towel, you'll know what you're giving back. If that reframed the bath meltdown a little, I'm glad. Honestly, I find the more I understand what cats are actually managing in any given moment, the more patient I feel. Not just with Kiko, in general. There's something about learning what's actually underneath the behavior that changes the whole shape of it. Drop a comment. Does your cat hate baths, or are you one of the rare ones whose cat just doesn't care? Or worse, actually likes it? Because I want to know. I read every single one. If you're not subscribed yet, come join us. New video every week. There's one right there I think you'll want to watch next. See you soon.